I must congratulate Asfandiar and Hamza for managing this event. I think it's very critical, and we need to have it more often. I think what I'll try to do is just start with some facts and figures, ताकि कुछ context develop हो जाए. I think that's very important. So I think at the end of the day, the bottom line is, I think, financial inclusion, right? I mean, कि कितने हमारे जो मुल्क में जो हमारी adult population है, how many of them have a bank account or have a borrowing relationship? Bank account होगा तो वो transactions कर पाएंगे. तो इस वक्त according to the State Bank figures, we have जो last published इनका data है वो 96 million unique customers हैं. यानी कि one customer, irrespective of how many accounts he or she may have in the banking industry. So 96 million unique customers हैं across the industry. And out of that, अच्छा इसकी जो अगर हम इसको बोलें कि फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन फिर क्या बनी आउट ऑफ द अडल्ट पॉपुलेशन, सो दैट रफली ट्रांसलेट्स टू अराउंड 65%. Now that is a very healthy number, I must say, क्योंकि ये these are basic facts, right? I think गवर्नर साहब तो 67% भी कह चुके हैं, if I am not mistaken. So this is a very healthy number कि 67% of our adult population has a bank account. So, but that's obviously not enough. 96 million अगर depository unique customers हैं तो we have roughly 16 million borrowing relationships. That includes microfinance banks, microfinance companies, and of course commercial banks. So the ratio of borrowers and deposit holders is बहुत बड़ा gap है बीच में. यही gap फिर हमें नज़र आता है if we look at अगर आप हम अपनी मनी सप्लाई देखें ना अपने मुल्क की, सो वी आर मनी सप्लाई इज अराउंड 39 ट्रिलियन रुपीस और उसका 26% जो है वो आउटसाइड द बैंकिंग सिस्टम है, जिसको हम करेंसी इन सर्कुलेशन कहते हैं. सो ये पैसा वो है जो आप लोगों के जेबों में है, तहखानों में है, वॉल्ट्स में है, और इट्स आउटसाइड द बैंकिंग सिस्टम. सो एक तो ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है कि उसको अगर हम मोनेटाइज करें और इसको डिजिटलाइज करें, उसको हम फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी में लेके आएं, तो ये हमारे लिए, मुल्क के लिए, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस के लिए, स्टेट बैंक के लिए, बैंक्स के लिए ये एक चैलेंज है जो हमें देखना है, बिकॉज वी आर ऑलमोस्ट सिटिंग एट 10 ट्रिलियन रुपीज़. इन टर्म्स ऑफ अगर हम ग्रोथ की बात करें तो जहाँ तक ई कॉमर्स की बात है तो आई थिंक मेरे पास जो नंबर्स हैं, आई थिंक वी हैव हैड सम वेरी substantial increase over 2023 to 2024, over 300% increase in volume and over 400% increase in value. तो ये तो बड़े अच्छे numbers हैं on e-commerce side, and so sorry, 84% in value and 110% in volume. वो 308 million was the transactions and 405 billion was the value. So, any growth over 50%, here we're talking 84% in value and 110% in volume. That's a very sizable number. But let me ask, I think this is an open question, to you all basically. एक अब cashless Pakistan का road map बन रहा है, which is being driven by the Prime Minister, right? और उसमें हमारी बहुत सारी stakeholders हैं उसके अंदर, and और वो बड़ा seriously इस चीज़ को obviously push किया जा रहा है कि number of merchants भी बढ़े, merchant of accepting, POS terminals भी बढ़े, QR code की acceptance बढ़े, and at the end of the day to push more and more the country towards cashless. So, but from your perspectives, from fintech, retail, infrastructure-wise, हमारा इस वक्त, what is the strongest business argument to push people to this area, to the cashless side? If any of you would like to just take a minute or two to respond, please.
So I'll take the liberty to answer this question. So the first thing that comes to my mind is the financial inclusion, right? By virtue of this cashless drive, millions of Pakistanis can actually started using banking products, which has never been the case before. So we have millions of Pakistanis which are either underserved or underbanked. So by virtue of this cashless drive, we may not only be promoting the the retail sector, but we can actually bring them into multiple other economic activities, which ultimately actually help us in strengthening the economy of Pakistan. So these are my views on this.
Thank you. You want to take it?
Yeah. So, from an e-commerce perspective, in all honesty, card payments, despite the fact कि बिल्कुल कम है, hardly 3 to 5% जो orders होते हैं वो आपके prepaid orders होते हैं. But having said that, what it actually offers is some data inside. It reduces your operational cost, of course, and it also enables customers to save on not just operational costs in terms of cash collection from the COD partners, from your 3PL partners, but also it helps in settling and reconciling payments faster. So it definitely helps, but then again, there are perceived risks that the consumer has. So that is something we need to obviously build on. Yeah.
I think on the positive side, I would just say that the business case is very sound because it just points back to that friction on customer experience that when the previous session was talking about, and digitization just removes all sorts of friction from the ecosystem, from the customer, from the operational side, as the panelists mentioned. But at the same time, it also provides you a comprehensive set of data. I feel, all the time I've spent in Pakistan, a lot of times you have exciting sectors where you can't present the full picture to any foreign or domestic investor because you're missing a key component. I think as businesses start to adopt the value of having a full set of information, don't get into competitive silos that he will steal that information, they will start to grow the pie, which I think is the biggest focus.
अब क्योंकि आपने अभी निदा जिस तरह जिक्र किया कि nearly 95% जो e-commerce की transactions हैं वो COD हैं, कैश पे बहुत ज़्यादा इन्हिसार है, इवन दो कि कोशिश तो हर जगह से बहुत हो रही है, गवर्नमेंट से भी हो रही है, स्टेट बैंक से भी हो रही है, बैंक्स भी लगे हुए हैं, पुशिंग पीपल टू ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डिजिटल यूजेज पे आए. आई थिंक लाइक ईजी पैसा एंड जैज कैश, आई थिंक दे आर द बिगेस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ ड्राइविंग द नंबर्स, वो भी लगे हुए हैं. इवन देन COD जो है वो बहुत प्रिवेलेंट है. इसमें क्या इज देयर अ ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट विद द मर्चेंट कि यार पता नहीं मांगूंगा जूते तो पता नहीं भेज कुछ और देंगे या कोई बीच में से खा जाएगा. अभी भी आई थिंक we've had this discussion year on year, but क्या ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट क्यों है आप लोगों के साथ?
In all honesty, I think e-com actually picked up right after COVID. Ab is baat ko bhi it's been 5 years. Obviously, in 5 years, a lot of things change. But unfortunately for Pakistan, it has taken a while for e-commerce to grow. After these big marketplaces like Daraz, and now obviously Temu picked up for a while until the taxation hit everyone pretty hard, and Shein is now there. E-commerce is primarily driven through your retail fashion. So what happens is there is a trust deficit when it comes to sizes, and fortunately or unfortunately what has happened is that the penetration is super fast that even the scammers are now creating your own websites and they are giving you a payment link. So despite a lot of these BNPL options, despite the fact that there are a lot of these payment gateway partners that are available in the market now, and they are offering not only credit card payments, but they're also offering bank transfer, RAS payments, and wallet payments. But unfortunately, the problem with that is the reconciliation on the merchant's bit. And for the vendor, for the customer, the thing is they do impulse buying. For e-commerce, it's always impulse buying, right? Like rightfully somebody mentioned in the first session that e-commerce is definitely push marketing, yeah? So they're not really providing experience through e-commerce. What you're doing is you're showing them the products and they're free to purchase. So either they impulse buy, put everything in their cart, and once the order is there, so it's easier for them to cancel the order. And because the scammers are also right there and they're creating websites of actual brands, so what's happening is they end up receiving wrong orders or fake orders. So they rather prefer doing a COD where they'll be able to bully the courier partner who's going to come and deliver the order into open box delivery to see what they have actually purchased and then maybe cancel or receive the order. So I think that's the biggest dilemma.
Okay, because इसमें ऐसे kind of related सवाल ही है. because we were trying to get someone from the logistics company,
Yeah,
so we were
yeah.
not able to. And I hear that Daraz is starting their own logistics company as well, I
They
think.
do have actually.
Oh, they already have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they
Okay.
already have, yeah.
So तो मुझे भी यही ख्याल होता है कि यार जब चाहे वो जो भी लॉजिस्टिक्स कंपनी वाला रिप्रेजेंटेटिव आया वो उनको सारे के पास मोबाइल तो होता ही है तो वो सॉफ्ट पॉस वाली चीज क्यों नहीं चल सकती व्हाई डू दे स्टिल पीपल पुश ऑन COD एंड वो मोबाइल के थ्रू कर लें चलें अगर आपने ऑनलाइन उस वक्त नहीं करना
So, to be very honest, recently there are a lot of scams around your link-based delivery as well. So you click on the link and you end up having a scam. So scammers are pretty active. And with cash handling, it's despite the fact that we would like to discourage the customer, and we have actually a lot of e-commerce players are now even giving free shipping or offering an additional 10% discount on card payment. What has happened is that right at the time of delivery, if somebody has placed a COD order, they would rather handle cash only than clicking on a random link and making that payment. Few of the courier companies, they do came up with this solution. They did. But unfortunately, the whole software was pretty expensive. And obviously on the merchant side, we were not really ready to give them n number of rate per order. That was also a challenge at their end that they could not really develop technically. And also the consumer would be like, I'm not clicking random link. Here's a cash. Here you go. And that's it. So it's a lot of perceived risk.
Maybe I can add a perspective from the logistics side. Previously, I was leading TCS over here for 3 years. So we've seen these challenges firsthand. Obviously, I also was with the company through COVID, and digital and e-commerce really took a boom. But at the same time, I think it is that trust deficit point where we also try to overinvest in open box deliveries, but at the same time, I think the cash solution needs to be more, digitized, and the players need to be more integrated through the supply chain as well. A lot of times, even if you leave a small gap, the scammers will come in. So even right now on the digital, banking side, we're providing QR codes to TCS, so the payment can be instant, because a lot of times you have higher order values, you don't want to leave money at the gate, change is always an issue. It actually is in everybody's interest for that thing to be much faster, but as long as we can make sure that the fraud risk goes down.
नहीं I appreciate that and I think शायद आपने भी शायद इस पे बात की थी निदा कि बहुत सारी ट्रांजैक्शंस जो डिजिटली हो रही हैं लेकिन वो कैप्चर नहीं हो रही हैं बिकॉज कस्टमर्स जो हैं वो IBFT कर देते हैं या फंड ट्रांसफ़र कर देते हैं मर्चेंट के अकाउंट में चाहे वो पर्सनल अकाउंट कस्टमर को तो फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है उसने तो पेमेंट आगे करनी है और वो इवन दो तो डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन है लेकिन वो टैबुलेट नहीं होती है कि किस मर्चेंट को गई किस लिए आई तो वो भी एक काफ़ी बड़ा चंक है मेरा ख्याल से जो हमारी MIS जो हम देखते हैं उसके अंदर नहीं आ रहा बट मर्चेंट साइड पे क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली अभी हमारे कोई 180,000 टर्मिनल्स हो गए मेरा ख्याल से मार्केट में आपके जो रजिस्टर्ड ई-कॉमर्स मर्चेंट्स हैं वो भी मेरे ख्याल से कोई अभी 8,000 के करीब ही हैं I mean in the larger scheme of things it's a very small number but I think then there are a lot of others जो कि नॉन रजिस्टर्ड भी हैं so वो I don't know कितने no one knows of course और वो जो हम पहले बात कर रहे थे साइज ऑफ द ई-कॉमर्स मार्केट तो अभी एक एस्टिमेट ही है कि रफली मे बी 8-9 $9.5 बिलियन की हमारी इस वक्त मार्केट है एंड इट्स अनफॉर्चुनेट के 97% इज कैश एंड उसके ऊपर है बट अगर मैं जस्ट गोइंग टू इजी पैसा एंड आस्किंग कि मर्चेंट साइड पे ठीक है इश्यूज रहे हैं टैक्स के भी मसले हैं उसको भी अभी हल किया जा रहा है उसके ऊपर भी कुछ काम हो रहा है बट सिंस वी आर इन दी IMF प्रोग्राम तो वो सब्सिडीज और वो ज़रा इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कम बाय बट MDR जो ऐसी चीज़ है जिसके ऊपर खेला जा सकता है बिकॉज अब तो कोई फ्लोर नहीं है MDR का तो इट्स एनीवेयर फ्रॉम 0 to I think 1.5 ओपन है ना फ्लोर है ना कैप है बेसिकली सो मर्चेंट्स के लिए तो बड़ी आज़ादी है इस वक्त बिकॉज उनको बड़ा लो फ्लो कोई फ्लोर है ही नहीं I remember when I started cards business in Pakistan with Diners Club in 93 उस वक्त हमारा MDR होता था 5-6%. With American Express used to be the only other card company there. So that means कि merchants are willing to pay. It's just a matter of value क्या मिल रही है at the end of the day. Right now उनकी आतें भी हमने ख़राब कर दी हैं कि 0 क्योंकि I think जो large volume retail outlets हैं चाहे वो online हो चाहे वो physical हो तो वहाँ पे तो कोई 0%, इवन लाइक फ्यूल पंप्स, बिकॉज आई थिंक कहानी वहीं से स्टार्ट हुई थी जब ये एकदम ड्रॉप किए थे. तो यू थिंक कि एमडीआर को अगर हम फ्लोर लिमिट, क्योंकि एक ये भी मसला है कि हम एक्सेप्टेंस क्यों नहीं बढ़ रही है. अभी बड़ी मुश्किल से 1,80,000 टर्मिनल्स पे पहुंचे. लोकेशंस तो अभी भी शायद 140, 130 के करीब है. तो आई मीन इट्स स्टिल नॉट ग्रोइंग जिस तरह ग्रो करना चाहिए और जो अपॉर्चुनिटी या पोटेंशियल है. तो यू थिंक प्लेइंग विद द एमडीआर, मे बी कमिंग अप विद द फ्लोर which will give incentive maybe to the acquirers, but also maybe create some level of playing field के दोनों ends का फायदा भी हो इसमें.
देखिए, I would say that any sort of a floor setting or something that meddles with competition is usually harmful in the long run. But I do agree that we need to build a broader value proposition for the merchant. I mean, EasyPass and JazzCash combined have probably the largest deployment of QRs, and now we have another big target effectively for the PM to be delivered. But I think it's a little short-sighted because we're not looking at some of the other imbalances as to why the merchant doesn't go online, right? There are other avenues. The RAS initiative has been, a long time coming, so it's important to have sort of free domestic rails that other people can innovate on. So the MDR should be left to the market to price. But I think there should be some message that there is value in this infrastructure and digitization for the broader community to grow their businesses.
For all stakeholders.
Yes, because without that, I think the reconciliation, obviously people are managing their books in a different way. They can't get proper financing. I think that awareness needs to be created. Otherwise, the customer or the merchant looks for the most convenient way to get the job done.
So, Misab, there's one more aspect to look at it. So, when it comes to MDR, so we need to look at the payment channel first. So, previously, we only had POS terminals here in Pakistan, which can be used to accept payments. Now things have changed. So now we're talking about QR. We are talking about request to pay later now, things like that. So when it comes to POS, so by virtue of its design and infrastructure, the cost will remain high. It has been high. It will continue to be on the higher side. So we can talk about MDR floor or the ceiling on the POS side. I believe State Bank previously actually came up with a circular where actually they gave a ceiling of 1.5%, ceiling of 2.5% and a floor of 1.5%. But if we look at it from a QR point of view, so this requires a very lesser cost as compared to, in terms of infrastructure, as compared to the POS. So yes, I agree with my panelists. So let the MDR to be driven by the market when it comes to QR. In fact, if we look at the recent circular issued by the State Bank of Pakistan, which is actually the endorsement of PM cashless economy drive. So that circular actually allows the aggregators to charge up to 0.25% max. And actually they have started subsidizing those digital payments. So I think let the QR be more prevalent for tier 2 and 3 merchants, where we can actually allow competitors to compete in terms of pricing if they want to charge anything. Else they can actually get this reimbursed from the government. Let the POS to be driven through an MDR model.
Okay. नहीं वो ठीक है. I mean market driven ही होना चाहिए. Unfortunately they started जब ये I don't want to name names, but I think ये जब fuel prices का एक मसला आया था, because fuel जो marketing का FMC जो fuel marketing companies थी उनका I think उन्होंने कहा था क्योंकि हमारा जो कमीशन है वो लीटर बेस्ड होता है और आप लोग हमें उस तरह बेस पे डाल रहे हैं MDR, तो वो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है. तो वो फिर उन्होंने लेना ही बंद कर दिया था सारे कार्ड्स वगैरह फॉर क्वाइट सम टाइम एक्चुअली. एंड दैट्स व्हेन वो जीरो MDR आ गया. तो आई एब्सोल्युटली एग्री कि मार्केट बेस्ड ही होना चाहिए और सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स का इसमें फ़ायदा होना चाहिए. अब हम, क्योंकि आपने भी पहले रेल्स की बात की और कुछ स्टेक होल्डर्स की बात की, तो आप तो वन लिंक को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं. यू आर वन ऑफ द मेन आई थिंक rails of the country and one of the oldest one. The origins go back to 99, 2000. And of course, RAS is the newcomer, relatively newcomer. And दोनों के साथ मिलके I think we can achieve a lot more. But मुझे लग रहा है कि थोड़ा आपस में competition कुछ बढ़ रहा है, जबकि ideally तो they should be complementing each other and growing the. But I just want to ask you, where can you support each other, or where do you think the country should be heading in terms of using both infrastructure, which are so embedded in our overall landscape?
So it's a bit tricky question to answer, but let me try. So I think be it Rust as a company or OneLink, we both are actually working on the digitization. So barring one product of OneLink, that is ATM interoperability. So whatever products do we offer to the industry is around digitization. So you can name it like interbank funds transfer, bill payments. It's all about cashless economy, right? When it comes to Rust, so we do have a partnership with Rust for P2M services. Instead of competing with Rust, we actually prefer to leverage on their rails. So at OneLink, we have a product with the name OneGo, which actually offers all the product suite of Rust P2M. Like that is static QR, dynamic QR, request to pay now, later, things like that. And we launched this last year with the clear objective of becoming an aggregator of merchant aggregators. Rather than competing with the aggregators, we started offering the service to our non-banking aggregators. Like ARY has been using a service. We have GoLootlo under our belt, things like that. So yes, so we are not competing. We are trying to give something to the industry by collaborating with Rust. And just to give a new idea on this, what we had recently done. We have started offering the same services to banks. You know, what has happened? There's a term we call a reverse aggregation, where instead of actually onboarding aggregators, we prefer to onboard the merchants of our aggregators. So what we have done, through an static QR, we have signed up 5 banks, and by virtue of this arrangement, those banks will actually deploy the QR at their merchants. So they'll be using OneLink services, which we have taken from Rust, and offer the same service to the merchant of those banks. So we are, I would say, we are not competing per se. We prefer to leverage on the rails to actually give support to the industry.
Thank you. I think we'll have to leave it at that because ये तो ऐसा topic है कि इस पे तो घंटों बात हो सकती है. But unfortunately time नहीं और I don't want to eat up my other friend's time, जो कि which is also another very interesting area which is coming up. So I just have a couple of minutes. So if I can pick up a question or two from the audience, अगर आप में से कोई किसी का कोई सवाल हो, if you are dying to ask any particular question related to e-commerce or the payment side. कोई नहीं है मेरा ख्याल. No one? No questions? Okay, I guess that's it. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you to the organizers. Much appreciated.